Reported speech. In this video, we will be discussing how to convert statements, imperatives, and questions in direct speech into reported speech. Why reported speech? Reported speech is used to narrate a statement, imperative, or a question uttered by someone to another. First, we'll compare direct speech with reported speech. In direct speech, there is a comma after the reporting verb, and direct statement is written in between inverted commas. Exact words of the speaker are written within the speech marks or inverted commas in direct speech. In reported speech, no commas are used after the reporting verb, and no commas are used after the reporting verb, and no inverted commas are used in reported speech. Further, speakers' words are reported by changing the tense of the direct statement in reported speech. To convert direct speech into reported speech, we need to identify the reporting verb and the direct statement. In these sentences, if you copy down them, you can underline the direct statement and circle the reporting verb. Okay, so you can pause this video and do the activity. After that, you can see whether you have got the answers correct. Now I will show you the reporting verbs. These are the reporting verbs in each sentence, and these are the direct statements in all the sentences. Okay, so now we have an idea about direct statements and reporting verbs. Statements. To statements, there are three rules to convert from direct speech to indirect speech or reported speech. Rule number 1. If the reporting verb is in past tense, all the present tenses of direct statements are converted into their corresponding past tenses. And don't forget that pronouns are changed accordingly. Here you can see there are examples written by me to make you understand what is happening here. Example number 1. I said to her, I am hungry. Now here the direct statement is I am hungry, and it is in simple present. So according to this rule, we have to convert it into its corresponding past tense. That means the simple past. So the answer is I said to her that I was hungry. Number 2. She told me you are annoying me. Here the direct statement is you are annoying me, and it is in present continuous. According to the rule number 1, it should be past continuous in reported speech. So the answer is she told me that I was annoying her. See, the pronouns has been changed. Example number 3. Mother said to my sister, you have made a mess. Here the direct statement is you have made a mess, and it is in present perfect. So according to this rule, we have to convert it into past perfect in reported speech. The answer is Mother said to my sister that she had made a mess. Okay, now we'll go to the rule number. Before we go to rule number 2, we will try to convert these sentences into reported speech. See, the first one. Emma said, my teacher is going to London. The answer of this should be Emma said that her teacher was going to London. Second one. Hashim said, I play football with my brother. The answer should be Hashim told that he played football with his brother. Number 3. I told my teacher I have done my homework. The answer is I told my teacher that I had done my homework. Last one. Stephen said to me, my hobby is playing the guitar. The answer should be Stephen said to me that his hobby was playing the guitar. Now all these sentences, if you look at all these sentences, you can see that the reporting verbs are in past tense. That was the condition in rule number 1. Okay, if both reporting verb and direct statement are in past tense, tense of the direct statement changes as below in reported speech. Now, here we are talking about the reporting verb in past tense and also the direct statement in past tense. In rule number 1, we told that only the reporting verb should be in past. But here, when both reporting verb and the direct statement are in past tense, this is how you have to change the direct statement. Simple past should be past perfect. Past continuous should be past perfect continuous. And past perfect should be past perfect. Right, let's see the examples. Clara said to him, I cooked for you. Now this is in simple past and reporting verb is also in simple past. So in this case, we have to change simple past into past perfect. The answer is Clara said to him that she had cooked for him. Let's go to the third rule now. If the reporting verb is in present tense, tenses of the direct statements are not changed in reported speech. Look at the examples. Our teacher says to us, you are the best children in the school. Here the reporting verb is in present tense. So according to this rule, if the reporting verb is in present tense, we no need to change the tense of the direct statement. Only the pronouns should be changed. Look at the answer. Our teacher says that we are the best children in the school. Example number 2. My brother is telling, I didn't water the garden. Answer. My brother is telling that he didn't water the garden. See, the tense of the direct statement has not been changed. Why? The reason is the reporting verb is in present tense. Okay, these are the 3 rules that you need to remember under the statements in reported speech. And there is another important thing. There are word changes in reported speech. Now, here in this table, you can see the terms related to time in direct speech are changed to another word in reported speech. For example, now in direct speech becomes then in reported speech. There is a huge list that you need to make sure that you change these words in reported speech. Now, we will do this small activity and see whether we have gotten an idea about reported speech. Number 1, Naina said to Dev, you have forgotten your cap at my home. Let's see the answer. Naina said to Dev that he had forgotten his cap at home. Right. Number 2. My grandpa says I haven't visited the Taj Mahal. Okay. Now see, the first sentence was like this. Reporting verb is in past tense and direct statement is in present perfect. So it belongs to rule number 1. Look at the second one. My grandpa says I haven't visited the Taj Mahal. My grandpa says. So there the reporting verb is in present tense. It belongs to rule number 3. So the answer is my grandpa says that he hasn't visited the Taj Mahal. Number 3. He told me you can help me to clean the garden. This is again belong to rule number 1. Answer is he told me that I could help him to clean the garden. Number 4. Steve said to Ria, I will come to the party tonight. And the answer should be Steve said to Ria that he would come to the party that night. See, according to the word changes in the previous slide, tonight has been changed as that night and will has been changed as would. Last one. You told her, I saw you crying yesterday. The answer should be, you told her that you had seen her crying the previous day. The last sentence belongs to rule number 2. I think you have recognized that. Both reporting verb and the direct statement are in past tense. Did you see that? Very good. Imperatives. Okay, when we convert imperatives to reported speech, there is no much to be done. Look at the examples. First one, she told me, please sit down. So it has been changed into reported speech like this. She requested me to sit down. So please has not been written there and we have changed the reporting verb into requested. And we have added to before sit down. She requested me to sit down. Second one, he said to my mother, don't touch the lid of the rice cooker. Look at the answer. He said to my mother not to touch the lid of the rice cooker. So don't touch has been changed as not to touch. Let's look at the last one. The teacher shouted at the students, be quiet. The answer should be the teacher shouted at the students to be quiet. It's very simple. If it is a positive imperative, we have to put to and the rest. And if it is a negative, if it is a don't one, if it is something that we should not do, we have to put not to and the rest of the imperative. We'll go to the questions. Let's see how to convert questions in direct speech into reported speech. Questions. When it comes to questions, there are two main types. Yes/no questions and WH questions. Before we convert direct questions, direct speech into indirect speech, we have to consider whether the particular statement or the question is a yes/no question or a WH question. Now here I have given you some examples to understand what are yes/no questions and what are WH questions. Simply, yes/no questions are the questions that provides the answer yes or no. And the WH questions are the questions that start with a WH word. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Now let's discuss how to convert yes/no questions into reported speech. Look at the example 1. I asked my sister, are you hungry? We have to take the direct statement separately or the direct question. We have to change the question into a sentence first. You can see after the first arrow I have changed are you hungry into you are hungry. And then I have changed the pronouns accordingly. So it has become she is hungry. And then it is a statement. It is a sentence. Now I have to consider the first rules. The first rules which were for statements here as well. So she is hungry becomes she was hungry. And it has to come here. There is another thing. See, we don't use that after the reporting verb here. We have to use if or whether with yes/no questions. Look at the answer for the example 1. I asked my sister if she was hungry. Look at the second one. She asked me, are you sleeping? Okay, are you sleeping becomes you are sleeping and then you are sleeping becomes I am sleeping and then according to the tense change it becomes I was sleeping and that should come after if or whether. The answer is she asked me whether I was sleeping. Remember this, after we convert the question into the sentence or the statement, we have to follow the same rules that we followed under statements with reported speech. That is how we convert yes/no questions in reported speech. Okay, now let's convert WH questions into reported speech. Here also we have to change the question into a statement. But before that, we have to separate the WH word from the direct statement. For example, look at the first one. I asked my brother, what is this? Here we separate what from is this, and then we take is this and change it into a sentence. It becomes this is. And then after doing the tense change, it becomes that was, and it should come to the answer after we. After what? Look at the answer there. I asked my brother, what is this? And the answer is, I asked my brother what that was. Second one, the interviewer questioned the interviewee, where did you complete the degree? Now here we separate where from the rest of the direct statement and take did you complete the degree? And we have to convert that into a statement and it becomes you completed the degree. And then we have to change the pronouns and the tenses accordingly and it becomes he had completed the degree. And that should come after where in the answer. The answer is the interviewer questioned the interviewee where he had completed the degree. Remember, here also we have to follow the same rules under statements after we make the questions into statements. Okay, we will do a small activity and see whether we have understood this. First one, he told me, come in. Now this is an imperative. It's very easy. Let's look at the answer. He told me to come in. What we did was adding to before the direct statement. Next one, she told her friend, don't disturb the teacher. It is a don't one, so we have to add not to. Look at the answer. She told her friend not to disturb the teacher. Third one, I asked my sister, would you like a cup of tea? That is a yes-no question. So we know that we have to use whether or if instead of that here. Let's look at the answer. I asked my sister if she would like a cup of tea. Okay, let's go to the fourth one. Mr. John asked me, why are you crying? Why are you crying is a WH question. Then we have to separate why and take are you crying and do the necessary tense changes. This is the answer. Mr. John asked me why I was crying. Last one, mother questioned the child, did you pay the bill last week? Did you pay the bill last week? That question is a yes-no question. So we have to use if or whether instead of that. Mother questioned the child whether he had paid the bill the previous week. Last week has become previous week. Okay, there are many more rules to consider. You can watch this video again and again and pause it and do these activities and check whether you have understood reported speech well. Thank you very much.